I love a hot dog, but I just want like a little bit of relish on there.
Well, yeah, you're like not a sauce girl, and I'm a sauce girl.
And I just want like a simple like 6-inch dog. Like I don't want to do anything crazy, you know?
I either want that or I want like a nice corn dog.
We have to move on. This is a soccer
Okay.
podcast, not a hot dog podcast. But let us know what you want it to be. If people out here start voting for hot dog podcast,
Those are our kind of people.
those are our kind of people.
Hi, and welcome to Good Vibes FC. I'm Lynn Biondolo, coming to you from cloudy Seattle.
Cloudy Seattle. I'm Sam Mewis coming to you from the Women's Game World headquarters in Vermont. Good Vibes FC, that's our podcast, is presented by our really great friends over at Olipop. So use code TWG20 for 20% off at drinkolipop.com. Today on the podcast, we're catching up on all of our adventures the past few weeks. I can't wait to hear what you've been up to, Lynn. Plus, we're diving deep into this past weekend of NWSL action, including Jaedyn Shaw's first goal for Gotham. And speaking of goals, we'll cover the WSL and Sam Kerr's big return to the field for Chelsea. But first, Lynn, tell me everything. How are you?
I am good. I've been here, there, and everywhere, I feel.
Yeah, you have.
So I missed a match, which is the first time I've ever done this for a wedding. My brother-in-law got married in Italy. So literally, I was saying this to Marley. I was like, the time that the team went from Seattle to Washington and back, I went all the way to Italy and back. And it was a lot. Like, it was beautiful. The wedding was beautiful. There was great tomatoes, great olive oil, great wine, cheese, all the things, but it was really far. I was like very tired.
Yeah, a West Coast Europe trip is hard.
It was hard. And then on the way back, okay, so on the way there, we went from Seattle, Frankfurt down. And so from here to Frankfurt, it was like 10 hours and then
Mm-hmm.
down. So another 2 hours. On
Mm-hmm.
the way back, went from Naples to New York here. Naples to New York was 10 hours.
Dude, literally flying east to west is crazy. That headwind.
I know. I was like, it's going to be a nice 5 hour flight and then another 5 hours. I'll be fine. No,
No,
I was not fine.
no.
I was like, get me off the plane right now.
You know, when you just hit a point on a plane where like a snack doesn't help, a
Yeah.
nap doesn't help, watching a new show doesn't help, you're just like, I need out.
I need out. I need my bed. That's how I felt. But the wedding was beautiful. Like, it was obviously gorgeous. Everybody looked beautiful. What more can you ask for?
I love that. That sounds amazing. Funnily enough, my brother-in-law also got married.
Weird. Did I know that? I didn't know that.
Just this past weekend, I went to Acadia National Park in Maine.
Well, at least you didn't have to travel as far.
True.
How was it?
It was great. It was lovely. It was so fun to see the family. We had a great lobster bake dinner,
Ooh.
which was incredible. My husband's family like always used to do like lobster bakes in their backyard growing up, and so the groom like really had his heart set on like recreating that, and it was so great. Like Maine lobster is so lit.
Are they known for lobster?
Yeah. So that was really fun. I am just like really being a wedding guest right now. Like it's really like my like main priority. Like these, like September is just like my wedding month.
How many weddings have you gone to?
2 so far and one more this weekend.
Fun. And then another one at the end of the year.
And another one at the end of the year. Yep.
I love weddings. They're so fun and I cry all the time. It's like I just love them.
I know. It's like impossible not to cry. I also love wearing glitter and I love dancing. So weddings are like pretty much the place for me.
So if you want to have a wedding guest, invite us.
I think I am like a top. Like I'm like a good one. I really do. Like I hate to brag, but I think I'm a good wedding guest.
You were a great wedding guest for my wedding.
I know. That's one compliment like I don't struggle to take. It's like if somebody says you were fun at that wedding, I'm like, yeah, I know. Like I don't
Duh,
find
obviously.
that I don't find that hard to like accept that compliment because it's just like something I'm like really confident in.
What if somebody said you were horrible?
I would be like, you're horrible. Like we just our values don't align because I just know it's not true. You also threw out the first pitch at a
Oh
Mariners
my
game.
gosh. I did.
But I saw you practicing your throw and I know it was your good elbow, but it looked wonky.
Samantha, it was going horribly. I don't know what was happening. Like, I've never thrown a ball so horribly. They obviously like had this hallway where you could practice, and they just kind of marked out how far it is. First of all, it's far.
It's far.
It's far.
It's far.
And then you feel lonely out there. So
Yeah.
anyways, I'm practicing. Marley's being the catcher. And I think I just got, I don't know, like the wall was too close to me or something. I hit it off that wall 5 times. 5 times. I threw it into the ground a couple times. The ball was flying everywhere.
And then how did it go in the actual throw?
Well,
Good.
let me tell you.
Oh.
So I think everybody around me was like, this isn't going to go great. And then they kept saying, are you nervous? Are you nervous? And I was like, I'm really not nervous. Like this ball is going to go anywhere and the catcher's just going to have to run for it, if anything. Like, I don't
What's the
know.
worst that can happen?
Exactly.
You miss.
And then they kept saying, like, come and just go in front of the mound. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm going to go from the mound, obviously. Prideful. And then she came up to me and said, when Allie Long did this after the World Cup, she juggled. Come to find out, Allie had been practicing for a long time. So again, prideful. And I was like, well, I have to try to juggle.
No.
So I did 2 practices. One went great, one went horribly. And I was like, I have a 50-50 chance of this going well. So they have like a ceremonial person that goes out there and puts the game ball down on the mound before I go. And she goes, ignore the game ball, just move it to the side. You have your own ball. I was like, great. I go out there. They're announcing me. I'm like, hello, thank you so much. I get out there and I'm talking to the man. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so far. And I tell him, I'm going to try something. I go to juggle. First one, great. Second one, I kick it off the mound. I kick it off the mound. And in my head, I go, well, I can't chase after the ball. So I just picked up the game ball and threw it.
I mean, amazing.
Strike. It was strike. The throw, though, was a strike. It was amazing.
I mean, Lynn, you're so brave, and I'm so proud of you, and you just have a heart of gold.
Thank you so much. The crowd did go, oh, and then they cheered after. And I said, thank you. It was a strike. Bring me back.
Bring me back. Go Mariners. Did you stay for the game?
I did. We stayed for a couple innings.
Did you have a hot dog?
I had a chicken burger and Marley had a Godzilla hot dog.
Sounds gross.
It kind of did look a little gross, but it was like so long and had like so much stuff on top of it.
Yeah, I love a hot dog, but I just want like a little bit of relish on there.
Oh,
crazy.
I just want ketchup and that's it.
I'll have ketchup, sure. If it was my choice, I would just have relish.
Well, yeah, you're like not a sauce girl and I'm a sauce girl.
And I just want like a simple like 6-inch dog. Like I don't want to do anything crazy, you know?
I either want that or I want like a nice corn dog.
I'm not like really into any sort of like fancy corn dog situations.
Well, me neither. By nice, I just mean like a standard corn dog with corn bread on the outside.
Is it cornbread on the outside? Because you know that would change my mind. Has anybody ever invented that? A hot dog dipped in cornbread?
Remember when we had so much cornbread, my stomach hurt and I thought I had to go to the hospital?
we have to move on. This is a soccer podcast, not a hot dog podcast. But let us know what you want it to be. If people out here start voting for hot dog podcast,
those are our kind of people.
Those are our kind of people. Speaking of our kind of people, you all are such an amazing group of listeners, and I've recently been very inspired to like come up with a nickname for all of you. Suddenly, I hope it's the hot dogs. This is the Good Vibe podcast, and our listeners are the hot dogs.
Just dressing up in hot dog outfits.
Did we just nail it?
No. Do we not call them the Good Vibers?
I don't like that.
Okay.
We've never called them that before in my 1.5 years of existing with this show.
The Vibies?
No. Nope. I'm not into that. Just to be clear, don't email us that.
The Goodies?
The Goodies?
Yeah.
I could do the Goodies.
We need help.
We need help. And I need you to send us an email at womensgamemib@menandboys.com. If you do want it to be the hot dogs, you win $1 million.
Not from us, but from somebody.
Just kidding. Obviously, that was just a joke.
Speaking of that, I've been playing the lottery. Have you been playing the lottery?
No.
Okay, well.
Have you won anything?
No, obviously not, but you can't win if you don't play.
And that's Lynn's ad for playing the lottery. You can't win if you don't play.
That's the truth.
So you've been playing the Powerball.
Yeah. Powerball.
You do. You just believe in yourself just the right amount to think that you're going to win the Powerball $1.1 billion raffle prize.
Yeah. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but maybe someday.
We're going down a path of this being the most off-topic show ever. So I'm going to bring us back on track. Send us an email with nickname ideas for you all. I want to be like, hey, hot dogs, welcome to Good Vibes. Okay, one more thing before we get into the soccer. Men in Blazers Media Network is running our annual survey, and we would love to hear from you. One of the things that I love the most about the women's game is getting to be part of this really incredible community that cares so deeply about soccer, especially on the women's side. And we want to keep improving our coverage, and that's where you come in. Our 2025 survey is your chance to tell us what you want to see, what stories in women's football matter the most, and how we can help bring this community even closer together. The survey only takes a couple of minutes, and your feedback will really help shape what we do next. And to thank you for taking the survey, 3 of you who respond will win some of our brand new Good Vibes FC merch. We would love to hear from you, hot dogs. The link is in the show notes, and I can't thank you enough for lending us your voice. Hot dogs is it for me. It's going to take a really great name to beat that.
It's not hot dogs.
Let's get into some NWSL news, Lynn. Your game on Sunday night against Louisville actually got suspended mid-game, and I was hoping you could tell us what happened.
Yeah, so we had unfortunately an incident where Savannah DeMelo went down on the field um, very close to the end of the half. I wasn't out there, but seeing the reaction from the players and seeing how fast the medical staff got out there to respond to her, it looked very serious and it was very scary. There was a lot of crying. There was a lot of like uncertainty of what's going on with Savannah. Is she okay? Is she not okay? And I'm really proud that the game got suspended. I think at the end of the day, it's just a game, and there's things that are way more important than that. And player safety is obviously first and foremost. So Savannah's, we got an update today that she is awake, alert. She's doing well. But obviously, that was like a very scary moment.
Yeah, a really, really scary moment. I know that she was taken to get further evaluated at a local hospital. And I also know that the policy to suspend the game had gotten changed earlier this year when another incident occurred on the field during an Angel City game. And that game continued on.
Mhm.
A lot of fans, a lot of players really called for the league to change that policy. And thanks to the Players Association, it did get changed. So Sunday's game did get suspended. And obviously, we can't speculate on the medical situation specifically from Sunday, but I do know that Savannah DeMelo was taken off the field on a stretcher earlier this season in March and has since reported that she had been diagnosed with Graves' disease and hyperthyroidism. So, whatever the medical situation this past weekend, obviously, we're sending our best wishes to Sav. We hope she's doing okay. And a huge thank you to all the medical personnel who were involved in getting her safely off the field.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's just like being out there and obviously seeing Savvy King go through that, you can feel for her from afar, but being there up close and personal, it really was like so traumatic, and it puts things into perspective. You know, a lot of our teammates don't know her at all, but there were people who were crying on our side as well, just because it puts things into perspective of
Mhm.
how fragile life is and how important people are to you. So again, I'm so thankful that all the right protocols were put in place. I'm thankful that Laura used to coach Bev, and they had such a close relationship as coaches. And I think everybody just like gathered around to help best support her. And I know that we've reached out to Louisville and said, is there anything you guys need from us? Please let us know. It's tough. It's heavy.
I know, a lot for teams to go through, a lot for Savannah to go through. So we're sending love to everybody. That game, which got suspended on Sunday, will now be replayed today. And ahead of that game, Seattle and Louisville both sit just above the playoff line in 7th and 8th place. But obviously, there are points up for grabs in that game. And they're really valuable points, too, because only 5 points separate third place Gotham from ninth place North Carolina, making that middle of the table and that playoff race, the top 8 teams will go to playoffs, extremely tight. And Lynn, I'm curious how your team is feeling about the playoff race. Where would you say you guys are at right now mentally in the season?
Yeah, I mean, it's no surprise that the table's tight and also that we need to win a game. We have, I think, gone on a 5-game winless streak, which is, you never want to say it. That's hurts the heart, but we're still right there. And so we just need if we win, we're in third place. And if we don't, obviously we might stay. We just leave the table up for somebody else to grab. So we're kind of just thinking, okay, let's go out there and let's win a game. Obviously, again, with everything that's happened, puts a little bit of an emotional pressure and added
Yeah.
emotional strain to it. So I'm really hopeful that the girls, everybody can just come together and say, let's put all of our focus into one area, and just go out there and try to play the best soccer we can possibly play.
Yeah, I mean, my gosh, any time that 3 points is so valuable, you
I
just
know.
really hope that you can go out there and, like, focus on that. I am curious, Lynn, what your physical state is. I know you've been out for a
Yeah.
few games with that nagging knee thing, and I'm wondering how you're
Yes.
feeling lately.
Yeah, obviously it's not ideal, especially during this time when I want to be out there helping the team push for playoffs. Um, I just my knee hasn't been treating me great. It keeps blowing up. I'm a pretty transparent person, but I've gotten it drained a couple times and a lot of injections, and I obviously couldn't just keep doing that pattern. Right now, we are on a 3-week build, so hopefully all goes well and the knee responds well, and I'll be able to play here soon. As much as everybody is annoyed, I am even more annoyed. And say a little prayer for the knee gods.
Hot dogs, help her out. Say a prayer for the little knee. Okay, Lynn. Well, I hope you do feel better soon. Obviously, it sucks to be injured and we want to see you out there playing, but we more want you to be healthy and happy. So I hope your knee feels better soon.
Thank you.
We more want.
Yeah, I liked it.
I
You'll
liked
keep
it
it.
too. It was like just really heartfelt.
That's always what you are to me, heartfelt.
Well, thank you. Okay, let's jump over to one of the biggest moments of the weekend in the NWSL, and that happened at Gotham. Last week, it was announced that Jaedyn Shaw would be traded to Gotham from North Carolina, where she just arrived this season for an intra-league record transfer fee of $1.25 million. So that means $1.25 million went from Gotham to North Carolina as a fee for Jaedyn to move up to Gotham. And Lynn, I remember earlier this year being so excited for Jaedyn to go to North Carolina. I actually went there. I interviewed her in person and I said, I think this move is going to be so good for you.
Hmm.
But weirdly, it just like didn't really work out that way. Jaedyn was
Yeah.
surprisingly not a regular starter for the Courage. She's been spending more time with the U23 national team this year than any of us would have ever expected. And I just keep thinking back to She Believes 2024. That was before the Olympics when Jaedyn looked to be one of the best players on the US women's national team. It's just been like a weird and difficult couple of years for her, including being injured at the Olympics, then leaving San Diego, going to North Carolina, having this kind of weird year. And I do think that sometimes like these growing pains just happen in a young player's career, particularly when there's so much pressure on them to be this like global superstar right out of the gates when they're just so young. And I wanted to see if
Yeah.
you could like weigh in on that a little bit.
Yeah, I think for some reason when people think about Jaden, they put her in a category of like 22, 23-year-old, and she's not. She's very young and moving around when you're that young and expected to be like the superstar on your team and take the team and push for a playoff run and put them in the first place. It's a lot of added pressure for somebody who's very young. And sometimes it just takes a second. Sometimes
Mhm.
maybe it's not the right fit, but also just having some grace with players is needed. And I also think that seeing her go down to U23s and knowing Emma and Denise and their strategy, the U23s needs to be an area to allow players to go back and forth and say, okay, can you develop in these areas a little bit more because you're so young? Like you're not perfect yet. None of us are perfect, but you at the same time need more experience. Can you go play against different countries, see different strategies, X, Y, and Z. And I think that that's exactly what Jaden's doing. And I also think that I've said this a million times. I don't know a superstar player out there who hasn't had um,
Struggle.
a struggle. And
Yeah,
this is her struggle moment, maybe, but this is also just like a really big growth moment.
totally. I also think to your point about the 23s, it's like sometimes and look, there will be times that a teenage player joins the US Women's National Team and has this like straight rise to the top. We always mention like a player like Mal Swanson who also had this dip as a young player who went to the Olympics in 2016 and then was kind of in and out for a second. Again, it's just this like adjustment to this level of pressure. And then look at Mal last summer at the Olympics scoring all these goals, being the hero of the Olympic team. Like when young players get this pressure put on them, it's really, really difficult. And our expectations are like kind of unfair. And I
Hmm.
think to your point about the 23s, sometimes you want a player to be in an environment where they're going to be a leader and have success every day and like
Yeah,
build that confidence. Whereas when you send a young player in with the US women's national team, they're like, they can be like a little bit fearsome or nervous or not having success regularly. And occasionally, I think it can be really helpful to kind of be like, okay, let's put you in an environment where you're going to get back to dribbling and
yeah,
shooting from
exactly.
distance and taking risks and having fun and being the best player on the field, because nothing makes you feel more like yourself than having success. So when you're constantly struggling and constantly like
Yeah, you
in
start doubting
the
yourself.
most difficult environment, you doubt yourself.
I also think what's really cool too is, especially with this new revamped US 23s, like in the past, if you didn't make the team or you were cut, you were just out, right? And now she has an opportunity to go back to the 23s and you're still within the same program, you're still learning the same things, you're building confidence, X, Y, and Z. You're not just thrown away. You're like, okay, how can we continue to support this young player so she can either get back to where she was or succeed
Yeah.
all expectations. But I mean, it was disappointing, I probably for her as well and North Carolina, that like this didn't transpire into this amazing performance. But I really think that she'll look back and say, you know what, that's actually a big moment of growth for me.
Yeah, and I think even recognizing like this wasn't the right fit. And so now as we
Ex-
go back to this move to Gotham that happened last week, Jaedyn arrived in New York on Wednesday, trained on Thursday, and then subbed on in Gotham's game on Friday at halftime and scored in the 79th minute. It was such a great header and it just like brought the biggest smile to her face. I feel like, she's coming off of this like kind of difficult year. And it's not to say that like she'll never have a moment of like struggling again, but I just imagine that like all of the pressure kind of melted away for a minute and the relief to just score this goal after a big move, after a tough year, it must have just felt so good.
Yeah, I think that you could see how happy she was just I don't know, sometimes as a goal scorer too, if you haven't scored a goal in a long time, you're like, "Do I know how to do this anymore?" And then you score and you're like, "Oh yeah, I know how to do this." And then it kinda like opens the floodgates. I hope this is her moment to open the floodgates, except when we play them. Please don't do that, obviously. Um, but I'm just really happy to see somebody like I love when like stories happen like that where you go in and you have your moment. It's like a Cinderella story moment, and I just am really happy for her, especially when you've like struggled.
I know. I know. I completely agree. After the game in an interview, Jaedyn was visibly emotional and she said this.
It's like kind of hard to put in words. This year has been really difficult, and I'm just so grateful for this team and just like all the opportunities that I've gotten this year, regardless of my performance or just the opportunities I've gotten. Yeah, I'm just really proud of myself, and yeah, I'm just really grateful for my family and all of my support system. And ultimately, it's not hard to come into this team and feel welcome and be myself. So yeah, I'm just, again really happy.
I love when like Cinderella stories happen
I
and
know.
when somebody goes through struggle and then they come on and score. I'm just so happy. I have no other words.
I know. It's like the script writers just like nailed it. So North Carolina, who are now without Jaedyn Shaw, and then this past weekend they were also without Denise O'Sullivan and Ashley Sanchez due to injury. They beat Angel City 2-1 thanks to goals from Manaka and Brianna Pinto. And it was great to see North Carolina step up despite missing those key players, get the win, get the 3 points. Svennis Johnsdotter did get one back late for Angel City. That was her first goal in the NWSL, but it wasn't enough. And so Angel City are kind of back on this hot and cold roller coaster. And I think that this game in particular just really made me think of like the kind of hot and coldness, like the lack of consistency that some teams are showing. And I just imagine it's so emotionally exhausting to be like on this up and down journey. We win 2 games, we lose 2 games, everything's
Mhm.
going great, everything's going bad. We're on the up, we're on the down.
Yeah.
And Lynn, I was hoping you could like weigh in on what that feels like sometimes.
Yeah. Before we get to that though, I just want to say Manaka is so good.
I
Watching her,
know.
I had nothing else to say besides that. I just wanted to make sure we pointed out that she's
She is really good. I think she's like an MVP candidate this year for North
I
Carolina.
agree.
She's been so instrumental for them. And you know what's really cool is just seeing how midfielders on North Carolina just like
Thrive.
thrive.
Coming from a midfielder who played on North Carolina. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they're producing some midfielders out there. I know that they have been inconsistent this year, but
Manaka's nasty.
yeah, she is. I've watched a lot of her goals, and I'm like, what in the heck? Or just even her positioning and the
Yeah.
whatever. She's
She's
amazing.
doing something different out there.
Um, Yeah, I mean, our team is also on this inconsistent roller coaster right now, so it is an emotionally exhausting. I also think that that's the league that we play in, because all the teams are really good, very athletic, fast paced for the most part. Anybody can just switch the game on a dime at any moment. I think that you have to get up for every single game, right? And when you are a younger team, I think the league is a lot younger this year than in past years. When you are a younger team, the experience of doing that game in, game out
Mhm.
isn't always there. And that's no fault to anybody besides just experience. And I think that when I was super young, I had to learn that as well, is being switched on in every single moment. Like when the ball goes out of bounds, it's not a moment just to switch off. It's actually a moment to switch more on. Um, and and I think that's what's happening is, okay, you get up for one team and you're like, okay, we did it. And it's like this a big emotional toll. And then it's almost like a letdown for the next game instead of saying, how can we continue to ride this high? And I really do think that a lot of it comes to experience
Yeah.
and youth.
Yeah, I think that makes so much sense. I mean, the most consistent teams right now, Kansas City and the Spirit, have a lot of really experienced
Yeah.
players who are like leading them and experienced coaching staffs and that just like kind of consistent approach to game in, game out, like more of like this level-headed success, I'd call it. Um and so naturally it is Kansas City and the Washington Spirit who are in 1 and 2. I do want to mention something kind of along these lines. So Utah beat Houston 2-0, extending Utah's unbeaten streak to 5 games. Though they somehow remain in last place, and I'm just like, poor Utah, you guys are doing great. Keep trying. I
Yeah.
want to see them move up. But teams like Utah, Chicago, and Houston, despite this individual result, have been in really interesting form since the summer break. So the NWSL posted this graphic last week showing the number of points each team has gotten since the break.
Mhm.
Obviously, as I mentioned, Kansas City and Washington Spirit were 1 and 2, still doing good, shocker. But in third place on points since the break in that graphic was Houston, which is a huge discrepancy to their overall 10th place positioning in the actual standings. Since the break, they would be in third, but overall for the whole season, they're in 10th. Chicago and Utah also showed up on that graphic as having had much more promising performances since that break, the bottom 2 teams in the standings. But since the break, they're coming in at 6th and 8th. And I'm like, it's so interesting, and I'm wondering what we can make of these sudden
Mhm.
improvements, and like maybe even the consistency that some of the other teams are lacking since the break. Like, what do you make when you look at that graphic and see it up next to the regular standings? Like, what information does it tell you?
Three things. One, I think that the teams that are inconsistent, they're all playing each other. So all that middle group is they're all playing the same teams. So you're taking points off of each other.
Okay.
Two, I think that when I look at these three teams, they are teams that are like in a moment, or at the beginning of the year they were rebuilding. So maybe it just took them a bit of time to learn each other, get to know each other, the new coach and a new playing system. And then I also think that at some point they probably were like, we have nothing to lose. Let's go for it.
Yeah. I think when you're like in last, you can either just kind of like not bring much, or you can just be like, okay, we're in last. We have nothing to lose. Let's have
Yeah,
fun.
yeah,
Let's try. And
exactly.
that was kind of what I saw from Utah even just this past weekend. It's like they're like scoring goals and they're so happy and they like
Yeah.
look not like the last place team. And I do think you have a decision to make in that situation of like, what are we going to do? We have a bunch of months left together. Like
Yeah.
we can come to practice every day and be miserable, or we can just like keep trying. And I do feel like all 3 of these teams, Houston, Utah, and Chicago especially,
Yeah.
have just brought like a new energy since the break. What do you think it would feel like to play one of these teams right now? Like I keep thinking about whoever Chicago is playing and I'm like, you have no idea what's going to happen.
Well, we did. We played Chicago and we were up 3-0 and they came back and we tied them 3-3. And then we were like, "Oh my gosh, that's so embarrassing." And then they went and like did the same thing to 7 other teams. Obviously, that was dramatic, not 7 other teams. But I just think right now if I was anybody playing Chicago, I'd be like, "I'm scared. I don't know what they're going to do, but they're going to at any moment they could score on you." And kind of the same thing with Utah and Houston. I just think that there's like this freeness that they're playing with. that before the break they didn't play with. And I don't know if that's because of their standings or if they finally have clicked, but it just seems like they're like, we still have 6 games left with each other. We might as well come and enjoy this and not
Yeah.
have a miserable time.
Totally agree. I think it's been so interesting to see that, like, week over week, just kind of be like, Houston, Chicago, okay, like, you guys are doing it. Meanwhile, poor Orlando just continues down the opposite way, have not won a game since the break. Don't really know what's going on there. I do have one more question for you, and it does kind of tie back into all of this with, like, even the last couple place teams suddenly having success. And I wanted to just give you an opportunity to weigh in. Last week on this show, Becky and I spent a ton of the episode talking about the salary cap and kind of different solutions for the NWSL to consider as the league grapples with big name players like Alyssa Thompson leaving the league for other teams and other opportunities. And I just wanted to check in with you as a current player to see if you had anything to add to this, maybe it's not quite a phenomenon, but to this notion that big name players are leaving the NWSL.
When I look at, I'm going to talk about Kansas City because they own their own facilities and they have their own stadium. I think when you have a team like that and you play for a team like that, it's easy to stay because you're like, all right, I feel like a sense of home, right? I think that that goes a long way when you're trying to, and I think about that all the time, like leaving Kansas City. I'm like, ooh, I really miss the chef and I really miss the going in and the locker room and the steam room, like all of the things they have. Like you can go in, do everything you need to do. You have everything you need there and then leave. And I think,
And we didn't even see the stadium when we were
and
there.
we didn't even see the stadium, but you have like this sense of like home and also like professionalism that it's just like, you're this, like, this is incredible. Um, but then when I think of like other situations, that's obviously not the case. And now you're talking about people leaving. Obviously, salary is always going to help, but there's also just this like pull to playing in Champions League and being able to
Mhm.
win trophies and this like real culture in Europe that is just so soccer. Like you get to eat, live, breathe soccer. That's just appealing. And no amount of money is going to keep people here. If people want to experience that, they just want to experience that. That doesn't mean they're not going to come back, but it's hard to compete with that.
It is really hard to compete with that. And I think, again, that just goes to the age of our league and the kind of
100%.
lack of history that some of our clubs have. And that is not a knock at all. What it is,
No.
it's just like, it's admiration for the English league, the French league. Some of these clubs are so globally recognized and so historic that it is a
Mhm.
dream of so many players to go and play there. One that a 15-year-old league can't quite compete with yet. Someday, my hope is that the NWSL will have that kind of like weight and global significance and like historic club story to tell.
I look at Kansas City again and I'm like, they are starting to build that because they have roots in ground. And obviously, like Seattle, for example, has been here since the beginning of NWSL, but they bopped all over the place. And so it's like
Right.
at some point you need to like get some roots in and then start building this legacy and history. And then I think that's where you start drawing them in and saying, okay,
It is different. And there are so many pros to consider, so many cons to consider, so many intricacies of salary cap and all these other like mechanisms that we can get into and talk about. And this is something I said on the show last week. I think even if Angel City had matched Alyssa's offer,
yeah,
I think she still would have gone. It's not a
I
knock
do
on Angel
too.
City and it's not a knock on the NWSL. It's just a part of where women's football is at right now that I hope the NWSL can continue to grow and thrive and have those kind of significant clubs too. It's just going to take time. We're a young league.
Yeah, I don't think it's a knock at all. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean any league is better than the other. I just think it's what the player wants at the time and what they're looking for, what culture they want to be a part of, X, Y, and Z.
But it is something for, I think, the NWSL as a league to consider and grapple with and try to figure out ways to make it really appealing for players to stay here and play here. And I would love to keep hearing people's ideas about this because it's been really fascinating for me to learn more about like the entire sports like landscape. So send us your thoughts. I'm really curious. I'm checking the inbox. You can send us an email at womensgamemib@menandblazers.com. All right, we do need to take a quick break, but when we get back, we're talking about Sam Kerr and Alyssa Thompson and the WSL, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody. All right, so there have been 2 match days in the WSL, and already the table is starting to take its usual shape. Manchester United, Arsenal, and Chelsea are the top 3 with 2 wins apiece. Chelsea beat Aston Villa 3-1 on Sunday morning, and everybody, the TWG Slack channel was lit up during this game with both Sam Kerr and Alyssa Thompson starting on the bench. We were all very hopeful that we would see both of them play, and we did. I need to start with Sam Kerr, Lynn, because obviously I was just so happy and so excited for her. She was out injured for 20 months. She got injured last January. And then just this past weekend, she subbed onto the field for Chelsea and she scored a goal. It only took her 18 minutes after being out for that long to score a goal. And I just watched the replay. Like, when people go, get you someone that looks at you the way blank looks at blank. It was literally, this was my face watching her score the goal over and over.
For the listeners, it's just in a loving, endearing way.
I was so proud of her.
Sis.
I know. It was like really, really great. So Sam subbed into the game while Chelsea was up 2-1 in the 75th minute. And to be fair, Aston Villa looked really good this game. This wasn't like a clear-cut game for Chelsea. Like, she didn't sub in and they were clearly going to win. But Sam, as natural goal scorers do, just found herself in dangerous positions in the box. She looked fearless, which isn't always the case for a player coming back from injury. She jumped up and challenged the goalkeeper for a header. There was this little scramble in the box and she was able to just finish it off from about the 12-yard spot. And just the relief and joy she scored from her, but also from all of her teammates, was just palpable through the screen. After so much time out to come back and do what you do best, what you love to do, it must have just felt so good.
I know. Speaking of another Cinderella moment, obviously it wasn't the prettiest goal that we've ever seen Sam score, but I actually think she created the chaos that allowed her to score. And like you said, she looked fearless. I'm obviously not in this position of such high celebrity and pressure and people always asking when are you going to come back, what's happening, but I know she had a little bit of setback. So when you have all that pressure already and then you're I've got to step onto the field and people are expecting me from game 1 to be my
peak,
which is obviously irrational thinking. It's going to take her time to be Sam Kerr, as we know.
Just kidding.
Well, maybe not. I don't know. But I think there, again, should be some grace. But I just think that to not only just score, but probably be yeah, I know how to do this again. I'm going to go out here and try my best. Just all of the emotions are probably there. But she's just not somebody who's going to cry on national television.
She did say after the game, I watched a little interview that she did. She said she was relieved. She said she's glad it's over, meaning the whole long injury journey. She's just I'm just glad that that's behind me now. It was really long. This was also her 100th goal for Chelsea. And Sam kind of said that is an accomplishment that I'll carry with me forever. Chelsea is a huge club. Scoring 100 goals for a club like that is
crazy.
Really, really cool. I did get to speak with her and Christy this morning. And I mean, it's not when I talk to Christy and Sam on the phone, we're all rehashing our soccer accomplishments and our work accomplishments. We're just chatting. I'm FaceTiming Jagger, really.
Yeah.
But I did, of course, congratulate Sam on being back. And she just sounds like she's ready to be playing, to be back to normal. She sounds hungry for more. I feel whenever you're kind of coming back from injury like this, you understand that the injury and the time away is going to be part of the narrative that is around you for a while. But I feel Sam is ready to just be all right, I'm good. I'm back. I want to just be back to being myself and helping my team win games.
Yeah, I agree. And we both know, once you've been away from soccer for so long, you have this new sense of hunger, but also gratitude towards it. And she also a lot of things in her life have changed as well. She's a new mom. I think that probably is an added bonus of just I want to go out there. I want to be myself. I want you guys to stop talking about my injury. When am I going to come back? And let's just get back to normal. And obviously scoring in your first game back is normal for Sam. So she's on the right track there.
I know. Well, we're just really, really proud of her. I love Sam and I can't wait to see her keep having fun out there. I just love her so much. Okay, so this game was also a huge moment for Alyssa Thompson, who's had a ton of pressure on her in her own way after her huge transfer to Chelsea. It's been the topic of literally every women's soccer conversation I've had for the last 2 weeks. So Alyssa subbed in at halftime and she looked solid. She had a few good moments, kind of showcasing her speed down the left side of the field. She had a dangerous cross resulting in a near goal. It was a really good start for Alyssa, who is just 20 years old. She's going through this huge transition. Lynn, I'm curious what you imagine the last few weeks have been like for her.
Chaos.
Yeah.
The trade happened at like the 11th hour. So
Yeah.
all of that, missing a game in LA. I think that like me and Marley talk about this all the time, just in normal, where I'm like, I can't believe yesterday I was across the world. So knowing that she did that in this chaotic moment of like, I had to leave, I had to pack up, say bye to my teammates. All of the news got spilled before I really got to tell people I'm in London. I need to find a new apartment. I need to get to know the team. I need to get to know this system. I have this massive cast on my hand that everybody keeps talking about.
Poor cast.
I know now my medical staff needs to like deal with this, which I was dealing with my wrist injury before in LA. Like there's so much I think going on that I am like really impressed with her as well as being this young player. But if I know Alyssa, she's a very calm, like demeanored person. And I also think having Kat there and Nay there to welcome her in and feel like a little bit of sense of home probably helped. But I think it's probably been chaotic.
I think it's been chaotic too, but you're mentioning some of the American superstars who are playing at Chelsea, and
Yes.
it brings me to our Olipop gut check of the week, Lynn.
Cheers me.
Dink. I love vintage cola, but I love cream soda, so I'm a little bit jealous that you have cream soda.
It's so good. So good.
This is our Olipop gut check of the week, everybody. It's about Chelsea. Coming off the bench this past weekend for Chelsea, we had Sam Kerr, Alyssa Thompson, Sandy Baltimore. They've also got Lucy Bronze, Myra Ramirez, Lauren James, and Naomi Gurma out injured right now. Kat Macario started. Kira Walsh started. Ellie Carpenter, Millie Bright, Guru Wrighton. Like, their team is Aggie Beaver Jones. Chelsea is just, like, so unbelievably stacked. And so my Olipop gut check of the week is this the best roster in the world? Does Chelsea literally have the best roster of players of any club team in the world?
At this current moment in time,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. Like, I don't even think that that's a hard gut check. But I will say this. We have seen super teams before in a whole bunch of different sports that haven't worked out. And I think it's important to know that when you're building a super team, you still need superstars, worker bees, and like personalities to like connect in the right way. And if Chelsea can like do that and get all that correct, I think they're going to be unstoppable.
I think that's a really interesting point. There is like still important roles that players need to fill on each team. And you're right to point out that sometimes when you have too many superstars, not all the roles get filled. I just think that for Chelsea, who are obviously really going for Champions League, they've won the WSL the past 5 years. They have this like depth chart, but also this like succession plan where they're like, just when you think they're like at their peak, they're like signing a new young player as well. And you're kind of like, oh, I didn't even realize you like needed her, but like, I guess someday you'll need her to be at her peak. And so it's partly the succession plan. It's partly the depth. It's partly just like the level of player that they consistently have available to fill out their starting 11. I think the answer to the gut check is yes, they have the best roster in the world. And the question is just, what will they do with it? I would say win the WSL again, but obviously they're really going for Champions League. And that's the question that we will find out at a later date.
That's a later Chelsea problem.
That will be another Olipop gut check of the week at another time.
And cheers to that.
And cheers to that. Okay, a few other updates from the WSL. Arsenal, also a deep team. They won their game pretty handedly over West Ham. Alessia Russo scored 2 goals. Emily Fox started at right back. Sadly, Jenna Neiswanger wasn't in the team sheet again. This was something that happened a few times toward the end of last season, and there could be any number of reasons. I do remember that at the end of last season, head coach Renee Slager said that there just wasn't space for her on the roster. And unfortunately, what that looks like for Jenna is that she's not in the top 18. She's not predicted to be needed during a game. So she might have to like watch from the stands. And I feel like that's just so unfortunate. And I really hope to see her back on the field for Arsenal soon.
I completely agree. I think that I've played with Jenna. I think she's an amazing player. Again, I think she's just in a tough moment in her career, and I have faith that she's going to climb out because I think she's not only a great player, but great person, and she has a good head on her shoulders. So
Man City got their first win of the season against Brighton. Bunny Shaw scored this great diving header, and it just reminded me like what it's like watching Bunny Shaw play. She was out injured for a lot of the spring at City, and I'm so happy to see her back scoring goals. Viv Miedema was also great for City. She had a ton of chances, but it was Yui Hasegawa who scored the game winner for City. Brighton looked dangerous. I loved the combination of Michelle Adjumang and Fran Kirby. Seeing them play together was so much fun. Fran Kirby did score a nice goal for Brighton early on in the game. And Lynn, I wanted to know if you've seen Fran Kirby's been like pulling some double duty. She'll like play for Brighton and then she'll like commentate a game the next day. It's like so awesome.
I know. It's crazy. I'm like, your schedule's crazy.
Her schedule must be literally crazy, but I think it's really cool that she's doing both. Something that you and I talk about a lot, like dipping your toe into something else while you're still playing. And she's still playing at such a high level, scoring a goal for Brighton this past weekend against Man City.
I know. I'm like, if you can do it all, do it all. And I think that unfortunately, right now in women's sports, we're not at a point where we can just retire and do nothing. So to be able to have a passion or try to explore another passion while you're playing is amazing. And again, if she can score on the weekend and then commentate the next day
on the same weekend
on that,
I know it's actually really cool. Okay, so another team I want to mention, Everton women, who have notably moved into Goodison Park this season, which is Everton's historic stadium. They saw over 6,000 fans come out to support them at Goodison Park, which holds nearly 40,000 fans. They did lose 2-0 to Tottenham, but I want to talk more about the stadium because I think that the transition for Everton women moving into this huge stadium is a positive transition and one that will come with a lot of learning and questions to be answered as well. Like, I think Goodison Park was obviously designed for a men's team. So there are some, like, I was reading this article where there's like urinals in the locker room. It's also designed for like Premier League fans. And sometimes I think that like women's soccer fans are looking for something a little bit different in their game day experience. But I'm curious and excited to see how the decision to put them into Goodison can contribute to their success. And the way I was going to relate this back to you, Lynn, was like you with Seattle, you play at Lumen Field, which holds almost 70,000 people. And obviously you're not filling up that stadium every single week by nobody's fault. That's just a ton of fans. It's not a soccer stadium. It's a football stadium. And I'm curious, like, what you feel about that. What is that like for players to be in a really big stadium with obviously a ton of potential, good infrastructure, but it's kind of feels like it wasn't necessarily designed exactly for you?
It's a mix of emotions, right? Like we also have like it's a football stadium. It's not a soccer stadium. So like even the way you're viewing the game isn't set up to be viewed.
It's so high
so
up,
high
the view
like
of your games.
Yeah, so you're not I think you can view a football game differently than you can view a soccer game, right? I think that it's great to have these grand stadiums and it's cool to play in it to a certain extent, but if you're only getting 6,000 fans or you're getting 20,000 fans even and it holds 70,000, it feels like it's 500 people are there because the stadium's so massive. So then you're talking about like the atmosphere of the fans themselves. I know at Lumen, like we just have fans on one side of the field. And when I like to go to games, I like to look across. I like to see the fans cheering over there. What are they doing? Like your visual eye is just there's so much going on. And for us, we don't have that. I'm assuming for Everton, it's the same way. And I think that on one hand, you're like, all right, we have this lofty goal to fill these stadiums, and you're putting that to the marketing team, and we're going to push. And of course, we want to strive to be there. But if you're not there yet, sometimes it feels like a miss. But then it's like, what's the alternative? You don't want to be in a place where you're holding 2,000 fans.
You want room to grow. And I think this is kind of one of those questions of like, obviously they're not there yet, but I think that this was a step in the right direction. It feels kind of complicated, but I think it's maybe just like a reminder that like we're still growing. Yes, we've had this huge boom. Women's football is taking off all over the world. Arsenal is selling out Emirates Stadium regularly.
Yeah,
Kansas City has their own stadium that they own, but it's like there are other clubs, and the more we are talking about like parity and wanting ownership to invest up and down each league, all leagues, I think we need to look at something like this and be like, this is room to grow. It's not perfect yet, but like, let's support getting there and let's support and like make steps towards better.
100%. I think I mean, this is easier said than done. Anytime you can own your own stadium and you have the ability to play with it exactly how you want, you're going to build it exactly for women. Grass is going to be immaculate. The culture and the experience is going to be different than maybe a men's game, which is fine. It's just different. It's always going to be case number one, but I think second best is like making sure you have infrastructure, make sure you have a good grass pitch, making sure all those are in place, and then room for improvement and growth of like getting people there.
Yeah, totally agree. Well, it was cool to see. Obviously, Goodison Park again is like just this incredible stadium, and I know for a lot of the players, it was probably a really cool moment to step into that atmosphere and play there. And it would also be awesome to see more fans go and to see the stadium continue to grow and evolve as its new tenants kind of put their stamp on it. Okay, everybody, we need to take one more quick break, but we're answering an email from Brenna in just a minute, so don't go anywhere. Okay, welcome back, everybody. It's time for a little news from around the women's soccer world. Let's take a look at Champions League. Manchester United are in the midst of a qualifying round, and they have a 2-leg series against Norwegian club Brann. They actually lost the first leg 1-0, but they have a chance to come back at home. That game is on Thursday, and I'm really hoping they can pull it off. I would love to see the U.S. women's national team's goalkeeper, Fallon Tellis-Joyce, compete in Champions League against the best clubs in Europe. But Lynn, did you hear that they actually lost their cleats before the game? Like the boot bag luggage got like lost at the airport when they traveled. So they had to like go to the store and buy 15 to 20 pairs of boots for the team.
Oh my gosh, I'm just thinking of like the blisters.
Literally, I know.
Wait, everybody's going to travel with their cleats from now on.
Well, so I actually wanted to explain what teams usually do. There will be like a boot bag. When you go on a trip, you all have like a little cubby in this like box of a suitcase, and you put your cleats and your shin guards in there. And then the equipment manager like handles that. And then on game day, they open the boot bag in the locker room and they'll either like lay your boots out for you. They're labeled, obviously. They're kind of labeled like a box of chocolate. Like, when you take the box off and then it's like a map. So like when you open the boot bag, there's like a map of like whose cubby is whose.
Yeah, by number. So you just find your number.
By number. And then whatever. So the boot bag must have gotten lost. And what a nightmare. The poor equipment manager was probably panicking. And it also reminded me one time at the Olympics in 2016, we were in Brazil and we were in Manaus. And Manaus was like really, really humid and there was like no AC in the hotel. So everybody's stuff was like sopping wet. So a lot of the girls left their like sopping wet boots out front of their hotel door. Because like when you're in a team hotel like that, it kind of feels like you're the only guests. But then like half the team's cleats got stolen. And we like don't know by who. And then like, but it's not like you want your like sopping wet cleats in your room.
Yeah, no, it would stink. It would be disgusting.
It was like so disgusting. But yeah, I don't even really remember what happened. It just like, yeah, like sometimes you lose your stuff and it's crazy.
Also with the cleat debacle though, like I'm thinking of like sponsorships as well. Like you have to make sure you're getting everybody the right sponsored cleats or you're not, but you're like duct taping them or like blacking out things.
Yes.
Just madness.
Yeah, there have definitely been times at like a national team practice when like somebody's forgot their cleats or something and had to wear like somebody else's extras and then just like go up to the photographer and be like, you can't post any pictures of me today because this isn't my like brand.
Yeah, please don't. I just needed these for today.
That's the Manchester United story. They're playing Brann again on Thursday, hopefully with all the right cleats.
Seriously. All right. And finally, just before we recorded this, the U.S. Women's national team announced that they would be ending the year with a pair of friendlies in Florida against Italy, who at the Euros December was like an absolute breakout team. But before that, the U.S. Women's national team will get back together in October for a 3-game window where they will play Portugal twice and New Zealand once.
So fun. I know. It feels like forever since the national team has been together. So I'm actually really looking forward to the October window.
It really has been. Me and Riley were just talking about that yesterday. He was like, what a weird year with the national team. It's been since June.
I know. It's a really long break.
I know. The girlies are back together.
Can't wait. That's like only about 4 weeks away. So I am definitely looking forward to that. Let's head over to the inbox where we have an email from Brenna that reads, "Hey, Sam, Becky, and Lynn. I had a question that turned into several after Hal Hirschfeld got a second yellow in the 68th minute during the Washington Spirit versus Kansas City current game. Where does a player go and what does she do after having to come out of the game due to a red card? I thought I heard the commentary say she was headed to the locker room, but is that actually where she goes? If that is where she goes, what does she do? Is there a TV so she can watch the rest of the game, or is she essentially in timeout until it's over? Does a staff member from the bench go with her, or is staff already back there? Does she shower and start any post-game treatments and routines, or does she just wait for the rest of the team to start all of that? That was a lot, but I was super curious. Brenna, that was a really great series of questions, and we're going to do our best to answer every single one.
Have you ever had a red card?
No, have you?
No. No. So we're going to also speculate.
Yeah, but I do feel like I kind of know what
We do.
happens. The player has to like leave the field area. So she can't go sit on the bench because she's being like punished.
So she does go to the locker room and she is on like timeout.
She is on, but sometimes there's a TV. Like if there's a TV in there, or she could just watch on her phone. But she's definitely watching and paying attention to the results of the game. I don't think that she would shower yet. Like I think she wants to like pay attention to what's going on in the game. But if she, you know, has some sort of an injury, like maybe you're getting treatment or something.
I think it depends on how mad you are as well. Yeah. Like what you're doing, what kind of red card was it?
You could be pacing around.
Yeah, but it's not like there's like staff back there. Like somebody will escort you in there, make sure you're all set up, but it's not like there's the trainers are in there because they're out on the field making sure everybody who's playing is tended to.
And then I do feel like you would like, you know, as your team starts to trickle into the locker room, you'd be like, sorry.
Yeah.
If you like think you did something wrong, or like I think you just feel like saying sorry because regardless of if you agreed with the call, you're like, you guys had to do it with 10 people and that sucks.
Yes. Especially if it's really early on and they had to play for a long time. You're like, I'm really sorry.
But luckily, Lynn, you and I have never had to do that. One time I did, when I broke my nose with the national team, I did go into the locker room like pretty early because I was gushing and the doctor had to like reset my nose, which like didn't crush it. And I remember like I got my nose reset, and then I think it was like a victory tour game after 2019. So I do feel like I like showered and like got my stuff together.
Well, yeah, at that point you're kind of like, what am I supposed to do? I'm just standing here
bloody
in my wet clothes.
Yeah. But Brenna, thank you so much for writing in. I really loved that question. I'm glad you asked, and I hope that we somewhat answered it even though we have no personal experience. I know I've said this a bunch of times already today, but if you didn't catch the email yet, I'll always say it again. It's womensgame@myb@menandvoices.com. Okay, Lynn, that flew by. I love hanging out with you and all of our hot dogs listening here today. Before we let everybody go, Lynn, I want to leave them with a good vibe.
Okay, you go.
Okay, my good vibe. My friend introduced me to these chips. They're like the Menina brand, and they're the jalapeno agave ones. And I don't even eat them with salsa. Like I will just like pound the bag.
I'm like shocked that you're eating jalapeno chips.
They're not that spicy. They're like, because I think they have the agave too. There's just like a little kick with a little sweet, and they're tortilla chips, and they're just like, they're so good. You have to get them.
Okay, I'll try them. You are like a tortilla chip gal.
I love tortilla chips.
Yeah, versus like a potato chip.
Yeah.
Like I'm a potato chip. You're a tortilla chip.
Yeah. And what my favorite part about them is that like you don't even like need a sauce. Like they're just so good.
I love chips.
So that's my good vibe.
I love that. A little snack is your good vibe.
A little chip.
My good vibe is I've been able to spend a lot of time with family recently. Like obviously went to Europe, saw Marley's family. His dad is coming in today. I saw my family, my sister and them recently as well. And so that's my good vibe. I just feel like I love my family and I wish they were closer and I want to spend more time with them.
I love that you got to see your family. What a good vibe. And everybody, that's it for this week's episode of Good Vibes FC. Thank you all so much for listening. And please make sure you check out our interview coming out on Thursday with Manchester City's Lauren Hemp. Don't forget, you can also join us on Discord. You can also follow along with us across all social media. We're here for you hot dogs.
That's not sticking. It's just like not going to stick. I know it.
I feel like it could.
Nobody wants to be called a hot dog.
Well, I do.
Okay, a hot dog.
Can you imagine the merch we could make?
2 like dancing hot dogs. 3 dancing hot dogs.
3 dancing hot dogs, plus a sea of dancing hot dogs that also listen.
Okay, bye. We
Okay,
love
everybody,
you.
thank you. Love you. I'm Sam Mewis.
I'm Lynn Biondolo.